sometimes it seems like it's such a gloomy perspective to think of America as a country which is nothing but the government's going to take care of you. You know, the Soviet Union, years and years ago, they had this basic idea. The government's going to provide you with a home, it's going to provide you with food, it's going to provide you with medical care, it's going to provide you with an education, the government's going to provide you with a job. That was their formula. And it didn't work worth a hoot, and the Soviet Union collapsed. It's in the dustbin of history. And here, what are we doing? We're trying to look at the government to provide you food and a home and an education. The government's going to provide you health care, and the government's going to provide you a job, or if you don't have a job, they'll pay you anyway. That's a formula that didn't work. There's no point in going down that blind alley again. And so what we're coming back to is the thing that's just so exciting about our country. It's a country of exceptionalism. It's a country that's led the world. It's a country that is a source of hope for people all around the world as they take a look at our country. And it was interesting during the days of Ronald Reagan that he got a message out of some of the concentration camps up in Siberia and Gulag and different places that were really rough. And the people were thirsty for news of what was happening with America, and they were praying for us because they realized that we were a source of hope and inspiration to the rest of the world. There was a group of our founders came over on a boat. It was called the Lion. It was 1630. It was some of the Puritans under Winthrop. And they wrote something called a Model of Christian Charity. It was a long sort of Puritan-type document, but it said something about we must consider that we should be a city on a hill, a light to the people around the world. And that was where Reagan picked that up in his speeches. Of course, it came out of the Bible, that we should be a city on a hill, a light to the people of the world, a good example, and an inspiration so that they would think of also being free from the influence of excessive government. And so that's the challenge that you as freshmen, that all of us, all of Americans are facing. And I think people are starting to understand this is going to mean some changes. It's going to be changes in our behavioral patterns and the fact we've just got to start cutting back on government, and we just can't continue to let the thing run the way we have. The bottom line, as we get back to it, I want to restate the problem, and the problem is this, that when you put those entitlement programs with the debt service together, we are spending almost the same amount of money as what we take in revenue, and that's not a penny for defense or discretionary spending at all. That's where we are. That's pretty sobering. So that's why the challenge is significant. We're not going to get there overnight. We're not going to be able to balance the budget in 1 year. I don't even think the most conservative guy in Congress would think that we could do that. There's any probability that America could adjust that rapidly. But we can balance a budget, and we must. The fact is we have to take steady steps, one at a time, and move forward with this because of the fact that we're protecting that most precious idea that America has been, that hope and that bright light on a hill for people all around the world. The aspect of America and the American dream, there's something that I talked about sometimes when I was doing some campaigning, and I like to throw into the mix there the concept that in following the dream that's in your heart, it takes a certain amount of courage. Those people like Thomas Edison, the people that came by the Statue of Liberty with a shirt on their back and a little change in their pocket, it took guts to do that. It's going to take guts to go where we have to go, but with courage and with God's blessing, we can do it, gentlemen. And Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for your indulgence, and God bless you all.